Hi, I'm Sandy from Sandy Over 70. Welcome. Let me ask you a question. Do you like to dance on cruise ships? Oh, I'm not talking about what the young people are doing in the discos. I'm talking about age-appropriate dancing to a little band where you partner dance. Oh, I love that. Do you think it's prevalent on cruise ships today? Absolutely not. They've removed that kind of dancing from the cruise ships. There's only 2 cruise ships I can recommend if you want to dance, and that's Princess and Cunard. Recently, I went on 2 back-to-back cruises on Royal Caribbean Independence of the Seas. It was a 4-day followed by a 3-day. Now, I know Royal Caribbean is geared to families and younger people, and I knew that there probably wasn't going to be any opportunity for dancing. I also knew they had a Latin nightclub, so I had my hopes pinned on that. Here's what happened. There were 3 dance opportunities, so to speak. One was the production show, and of course we didn't dance in that, but it was lovely to watch, and I'll tell you about that. And then there was a big band, and then there was Boleros, the Latin dancing. Let me start with their production show because I was very excited about it. It was called Invitation to Dance, and from the previews that I saw, it was going to be about ballroom dancing. I love dancing. I love watching dancing. And we got to the theater, and I looked around, and I would say the majority of the seats were empty. I couldn't believe it. I've been on 54 cruises. I've never gone to one of the major production shows where seats were empty all over. Usually you have to get there 15 to 20 minutes early just to get any seat. So I was surprised. Well, we waited and waited for the show to start, and then it was announced that they were having technical difficulties and they were going to have to cancel it, but they would reschedule it for 3:15 the following day. So we were there at 3:15 the following day. And attendance was even worse. My goodness, there was just no one there. I mean, I'm thinking maybe 100 people? It was awful. I mean, I felt bad for the actors, for the dancers. However, I thought the show was fabulous. I love the costumes. I love the dancing. I guess people just had other things to do at 3:15 in the afternoon. And also, this was spring break week. The ship was loaded with kids and young people, so I don't think they're all that interested in a production show called Invitation to Dance. It was so crowded at the pool area that we didn't even go out there to walk around for 4 days. I know that there was a lot of partying and dancing going on out there, but we didn't go. We left it to the young people. There was also a lot of music events taking place in the Royal Promenade, which is what looks like a downtown area with restaurants and shops and stuff. It's all open. There was a lot of things going on there, which I didn't go to. Again, just crowds, and it wasn't my type of music. But one day I saw in the program that at 4 p.m. they were going to have big band music. I love big band music from the 40s. Oh, it's great to dance to. You can do the jitterbug, the swing, and you can do foxtrots, things like that. But in the middle of the Royal Promenade, I didn't have much hope for it. However, showed up, and sure enough, they had a whole band performing right there in the Royal Promenade. People walking by this way and that. It was just an odd place for a band. Well, the music was so great, people started dancing right in the middle of the Royal Promenade, as did we. It was fun, but the space wasn't all that good. Like I said, people were walking past. So here we are doing a swing to the big band music. Now, note that I had to change the actual music to copyright-free music, so it's not exactly what we were dancing to, but it's close enough for you to get the idea. finally, we checked out Boleros, which is their Latin nightclub. They have a live band there, a tiny little dance floor, a few seats, really inadequate to say the least. This ship sails out of Miami, so there were a lot of Latin people on this ship. In fact, I would say the majority of people on the ship spoke Spanish. I do not speak Spanish. However, I love Latin music and I love dancing to Latin music, so we were there every night. One night, the band leader said, "Does everybody speak Spanish?" And they all said, "Yeah." And I went, and he said, "Well, where are you from?" And I said, "North Carolina." He looked at me. I'm sure he had no idea where that is. "Where?" he said. "North Carolina." Okay, from then on, he always looked for us, and if we didn't get out there and dance fast enough, he'd go, start dancing. We were able to keep up with these Latin dancers who have been doing it all their lives, who have the most incredible hip movement that non-Latin people often have a difficult time with when we're learning to dance. However, we knew 4 Latin dances and we did them. And then I saw them doing something that I really wasn't familiar with at all, and I asked, "What are they doing?" And I was told, "Cumbia." Well, I decided when I got back home I was going to learn cumbia. In fact, before I got back home, I pulled it up on YouTube and I found out it's a very simple step, and we actually tried doing it. That's the dance that most of them were doing most of the time, but we also did some salsa, bachata, even did a cha-cha once. People would gather and stand all around the dance floor every evening for each set. So we got there early so we could get some seats because we stayed the whole night. It was fun. We were able to keep up. You could tell right away we weren't Latin just by the way we were dancing and our gray hair. Everyone else was moving their bodies. The women were wearing skin-tight clothing. I was in a dress that looked like Little Bo Peep, so I wasn't wearing anything sexy. But honestly, we were able to keep up. We had fun. People came up to us and complimented us on our dancing, of course, meaning that we were good for the fact that we weren't Latin, but you know, I took the compliments. And I highly recommend Boleros if you're ever on any Royal Caribbean ship, because I believe they have it on all of their ships. It's a great fun place to be. So how much dancing did we do? Well, I danced the heel right off my dance shoe. Just look at this. I hope you enjoyed this video and will give me a thumbs up. Also, if you haven't already subscribed, I hope you will. And I also hope that I've inspired you to get out there and dance. I'm 77 and I'm still dancing, so you can too.